time for the Yoko's Grown. As you can see, we finally made it back home from our Disneyland vacation. So in this video today, we're finally going to do our July of 2022 garden tour. So much has changed in the garden, so much is still alive, so much has died. There have been a lot of failures, few successes along the way. So I hope you enjoy the new garden tour. So if you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, I am so glad to see you again. Let's get growing, y'all. Alright y'all, so we're out here in early morning. It's a beautiful morning before it gets too hot. So we're going to start here at the kitchen tower in the back. As you can see, everything is doing beautifully. So, some of the seeds, we got one little cilantro that popped up, and that's it out of all the seeds we planted in there. The basil's looking good that we planted. The sage is coming up. The nectarines are still, you know, hanging in there through all this heat, but they're looking, no spider mites on them anymore. The girls got perches. I don't know if you can see those. They got perches. Still need to get out here and get these plums. I need to get a stake in those and kind of pull them this way. Elderberries, it looks like she's finally starting bouncing back after she got attacked by grasshoppers and spider mites, but we've pretty much gotten that. It looks like we've pretty much gotten that out here under control. This is what tansy looks like when it blooms. I thought I'd show that to you guys up close. And if you notice where the tansy is, back here, because there's 3 bushes of it. There's 1, 2, and 3, and they are a natural bug repellent, and it seems to be working at this point. Excuse all the clothes, we were swimming yesterday. And then you can see I'm starting to get, these got attacked by spider mites, but now, you know, we're still dealing with the after effects of them being stressed out by it. We have melons finally. The musk melons that I originally planted here did not germinate at all. So I planted in their place, I planted it's called a golden crown watermelon. But I wanted to show you the plants. Now this is them beginning to recover after having so much spider mite damage. But you can see there's still a little bit left. But spraying them with water has definitely made a huge difference. So for those of you who told me to do that over on TikTok, who follow me on my YouTube channel as well, thank you so much, because it definitely put a dent in them. And then you can see, sorry, squirrels are fighting. You can see I have borage and some flowers that just got planted. This is catnip. And I'm not sure what's going on with the crimson watermelon here. I think it's because they got attacked by spider mites. Can you see the damage? I'm probably gonna, since I have enough time, I'm probably just gonna pluck those and go ahead and replant them, because here's one that fell and it's doing just fine. So take a look at how well these plants are bouncing back. If you haven't seen the spider mite video, I will link it at the end, or link it down in the description, and you can see the difference from then until now. You can see all the green that's coming back. It's got new growth all over it. We have new tomatoes all over, and these are our cherry sweet 100s. As you can see, they're doing really well. Looks like we got some tomatoes that dropped. And then if you remember right, this tomato that was right here had been attacked by those spider mites, and look at that. All that growth is nice and green. I've got to get out here and do something with these strawberries. I gotta rescue them from this passion vine, because they're just getting covered. So I'm gonna rescue those. You can see, look at the blooms on it. They're just everywhere on this thing, and I'm really hoping the flowers will start. You know, the flower, once it dies back, as long as it stays on the vine, in the center here is where the fruit will develop. And then over here we planted Joey's new little garden, and that video came out before we left, so I will try and link it at the end of this video. But we planted Royal Burgundy beans here. We planted on the deck sweet corn in this one. We planted some Tonda carrots there, some Gold Rush beans in here, and as soon as the tomato starts are showing up in the nursery, I'm going to put a tomato right there. Probably try to find one that's like a 45 or 60 day tomato. But here's the back side I wanted to show you. Look, there are tomatoes all over this, and you can still see some of the, you know, we still fought some of them, and there's still some damage, but they're coming back. And of course, this glorious sensory garden. Lemongrass. This is lemongrass. Okay. Here we go. As you can see, other than growth, not a lot has changed back here. Still dealing with this black-eyed Susan. I'm gonna feed her. We're gonna cross our fingers she starts blooming at some point in time. But let me show you what happened here. The spider mites pretty much took out that raspberry, and it sucks, because it was starting to get, these guys are getting raspberries at the ends of them. And this one right here, I've got to rescue it. This has got Kajari Melons in it. You can see some things are just dead. You know, the heat's just taking them out. These tomatoes are doing okay, but we've just begun to, well, you can see the damage that has happened. Everything needs water back here. So there's one of the bush beans that we planted as part of the summer planting videos. Now the potatoes, this experiment I think was an epic fail because you can see the potatoes have died back, and we felt around in there, and all we had was itty bitty little guys about that big. So this was an epic fail. This is something we're gonna have to retry and redo and see what happens next year. I'm not gonna do it this year. As you can see, we had to take out some of these tomatoes that were right here because they were just too far gone. But you can see these ones are recovering mostly. Everything, it's hot here, so everything needs water. There was a morning that I came out here and I turned, and right here were all these tomatoes, and you could just see the webbing just kind of floating through the air. Window boxes, these are Caladiums. This is a black grapevine. Here's our other tower. This one's doing really, really good. Our eggplants are finally starting to get some size where they can actually start to get flowers. And then I had to replant my sugar, the sun. I had to replant my sugar baby watermelon there, and I'll show you why here in just a second. For those of you who've never seen Malabar spinach, this is Malabar spinach. Now, I don't grow Malabar spinach to eat it. Like you've heard me say in a lot of my other videos here recently, I grow this for fall because you can see, look at those stems, look how beautiful they are. And these little guys right here that you see will be little pink flowers. But this is what that one looked like, and then eventually died. And this has been sprayed, it's been treated, but I think they had done so much damage to it, it's just too late, and that sucks because we got watermelons on there. Sorry for the sun. My neighbor's dog's been over here pooping in my yard. That's great. This is artichoke, and if you saw the video where I talk about growing your 10 best crops for your shady spots, and I talk about artichoke, this is growing in the shade, and I'll run back to the backyard and show you the one that's growing in the sun, in this Texas sun, and we'll see. You can see the difference. So this is one of my gingers right here, and it's struggling. It's doing okay. These are the Super Vesta and Pink Salvia. Another eggplant. You can see it's in that tiny pot and it's growing just fine. We got more eggplants right here. Not sure how this happened. This vine right here is called a Midget Cantaloupe. And then you can see our eggplant is finally starting to bloom. And then we lost both of these gingers. You'll have to excuse the Jayhawks. They get a little upset when I'm out here. All right, let's start right here. These are the bush cucumbers that we planted, and these, as you can see, are getting more shade than the one over there, and these are thriving better. These are hatch chilies that are doing good, and then our pumpkins and all of our green beans. This is Jade, and then Blue Lake, and then the Jahara pumpkin. These have pretty much died back, but what I'm trying to let them do is dry out, and then these are going to go in my fall decorations. We have more hatch chilies. These are more hatch chilies. And these are called, I think they're called cherry bombs. Cherry super peppers. You'll see those. These, if you've ever gotten, like if you're at Costco or Sam's and you see that jar full of red, looks like red round peppers, and they've got cheese stuffed in them, those are the peppers that are in them. Here's the corn. We replanted everything and it's coming up. You know, we're still dealing with wind issues, but everything's coming up. We have dragon tongue coming up in here. I don't know if you can see the little sprouts over there. See if I can zoom in on it. Yeah, now you can see it. You can see the carrots just starting to come up. And of course we still have all of the flowers. These are cherry bombs too, and so are those. But these ones, as you can see, are not as big as the rest of them. And that's because this soil that's in here is not the same as this soil. When I went to go buy bags of soil, when I planted these when they were small, honestly, there was no what you would call good soil. So I decided on this organic Kellogg's, and well, you can see the results. So I've been feeding the heck out of it, trying to get it to grow. And then it looks like something got on my marigolds here. Pushed them over. But you can see this marigold is huge, and she'll get really, really big. Here's what she looks like up front. She looks nice and pretty. Everything in here is looking good. It's thriving. We even have, I've been throwing my dead tops down here for my cosmos, and they're finally starting to seed again. So let's go over here and look at the back side of the tomatoes. These are all the orange chef tomatoes. And as you can see, we are still fighting the spider mites up here. I've got some tomatoes on here. I need to go ahead and get off. Oh, I need my clippers. But these are beginning to get attacked. You know, it's frustrating. I've sprayed, I've put out everything other than, you can see my cucumbers are dying back here too. They're alive up here, but as you make the turn and come down, they're not doing so good. This one seems to be doing better as far as spider mites, but you know, sorry for the spin. The damage is done. Those of you who've never seen them, let me see if I can get up close to the webbing. Hopefully it'll focus in on that webbing for you. And you can see it. It's trying. The camera's trying. It just can't. Back side of this bed. I gotta get out here today. These are getting big. Tie this guy up here. These are black-eyed Susans. Pretty, aren't they? So these had started to bounce back and they were looking good, but it looks like we're starting to deal with something completely different. I think this is called yellow leaf disease. So I don't know. I may end up taking these out. You can see in there. Because these were doing so good. These were the ones that I had talked about in my video that I had done so much work to, that were bouncing back. And I don't know. But they were doing good. These are all determinants that are back here. So you can see they're about done anyway. So we are going to take them out. Out of here now. We have planted turnips, and then along this line right here I had planted gherkins, and of those gherkins only one seed came up. So I'm actually thinking I have a month if I don't see more seeds sooner than later, I'm gonna plant muncher cucumbers, because obviously they're not going to germinate. There is, I forgot to show it to you, that is one of the hatch chilies in the back. This one is a hatch chili, and then there's another hatch chili over there we'll go see closer. But you can see the back side of the cucumbers, and it's just, they're just, you know, it's hot, they're spent. Sometimes you win in a garden, and sometimes you have a lot of failures, and this year's I've had wins, and I've had just crazy losses. But here is the towers on this side, or the next tower, and the container garden. We have dragon tongue planted back there. We have royal burgundy and zinnias, it looks like, planted in there. We have gold rush in there, and then here's the sweet potatoes that we planted, and I'll put that video down in the description so you can see that. Everything just needs water. I haven't watered this morning just yet because I'm doing this. More jade beans, more blue lake beans, and you can see the difference now. I know you guys saw the video where in my 10 crops for your shady spots, and I talk about peppers being grown in the shade. These are all in the shade, and you can see they're thriving. And if you look, here's an example. This one's in full shade. That is a shishito pepper. This is a shishito pepper, and that's a shishito pepper. These four are banana peppers, and they are in direct sun, and you can see just how much they are struggling compared to those three and compared to those four. So in Texas, our plants need shade. Anybody who has direct sun, and a lot of it, you need shade. Sunflowers are looking glorious. Lots of bees. Can y'all see them? Now these are a mix of carpenter bees, honey bees, and I believe there might even be some bumblebees up there, but These guys don't get close enough to me down here. They stay, well, you can see where they are. They stay up there. So that's how the garden's looking in this very hot July right now. We'll see. We're gonna do our best because these are Ace 55s, and you can see how they bushed up. They started bushing up from the bottom. I want to show you those sunflowers. Look at that. Now these are the giant multi-head sunflowers. Now these are native to Texas. If you ever come to Texas and you're driving down the highways and you see the sunflowers, not the ones that the farmers grow, but the ones that are multi-heads, that's these. I harvested them off the side of a road one time, brought them home, I planted them, I got one to germinate, and that's all it took. These all come back every year. I don't do anything with them. Now I do have to thin them out. You all don't think that that's just all I get. No, there's thousands of them, so I thin them out, leaving them, you know, where I want them. But you can see top of that tip right there is 10 foot, and this one is up good 4 foot over it. But she's also got a little help because that's a 2 foot wall that she's in. Look at that. Oh, that sun's bright. Let me get out of it. Okay, you all, I gotta get to watering this, girls. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's garden tour, and I am so happy to finally be back home and to get back on a regular schedule of posting. So many new things are coming in the garden. We're making our fall preparations for fall garden planting coming in September. A few things that are gonna go direct seed, but we'll share that all with you in the next video in the August of 2022 garden tour, which is coming very soon because we just went and got tomatoes. Things are gonna get planted, so I really hope that you found some value in this video. If you did, give us a like and a thumbs up. It helps our channel to continue to grow. And as always, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button because new videos are posted often. I promise, new videos are posted often. We were just on a family vacation. To see you in the next video. You all take care of yourself. You keep your heads up, and more importantly, no matter how you do it, you keep growing. Bye-bye, y'all.